Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to CSz Portland. And our stand-up showcase, the last of our 4 showcases from our winter classes. The first 3 were absolutely tremendous. This one will be absolutely even better, I am sure. And that's because you're here. Give yourselves a round of applause. Cool. So, a couple of things. First of all, drinks are available. It's generally, like, if you go see a baseball game, once the batter is in the batter's box, do not get out of your seat. Please don't do that while the comics are up. But in between, you can race back there, get more drinks, snacks. We're out of red vines, sorry. Cool. A couple other things, and this is really important. By being here tonight, you consent to your image being used as we stream this to Zoom and then the YouTubes. In perpetuity. For all the money we can make off of it. Agreed? If you don't agree, you can take a tour of Northwest Portland. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for understanding that. Also, one other thing, and it's super important. This is a class. These are people in intro and intermediate classes. If you want to heckle, go heckle somebody else. We're here to support, right? Thank you. And we're really quite serious about that. So, classes are taught, and I'm advertising this because the intermediate in April is full up as of tonight. But, however, there is room in the intro class still that begins April 17th, Monday nights, with Carl Wolfson. And it's awesome, so a whoop and holler from people who have taken that class, please. 7/8 of the audience, good. Nice. So that it's available at portlandcomedy.com/register. So I want everybody to remember the website. We're all going to say portlandcomedy.com together. Ready? portlandcomedy.com. Great. Then just look for education and registration, and everything will be happy, and your life will become so much better. Because Carl Wolfson has 40 years of experience on the road. He's appeared on most of the major TV shows that do comedy. He's been a DJ here in Portland on KPOJ and KPAM. He's a good dude, and he does really well by his students. Am I right, students?
Yes.
All right, cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, without too much further ado, your host for tonight, Mr. Carl Wolfson.
Thank you. Thank you. How about a hand for Patrick, everybody here at Comedy Sport? Great organization. And actually, I have to tell you, you're here under false pretenses. This is not a comedy show. You're actually the jury pool for the Trump trial.
Yes.
What do you say, guilty?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. You're dismissed. You might want to pick up your snacks for Tuesday when he does the perp walk, right? Sell some snacks to take home?
Sure.
Yeah.
You can't sell alcohol to leave, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
The only question about Trump now is, will he be tried as an adult? I think that's the question. Yeah, you got to get these sooner. The sooner you get these, the quicker we'll get out of here, right? Maybe you're all Trump people. I go to those places. I play Richland, Washington, so you don't have to go there. Oh my God. I was in Richland in 2016. I had breakfast. There was the waitress had a huge Trump button on. It was fine, you know. She serves my meal. It was a fine meal, and then she gives me the check, and I give her back the check, and I said, Mexico will pay for it. And it's all good. So you haven't seen the news in a while, have you? Okay. Then there's some really scary places I play in the Deep South. Anyone from the Deep South? Who's from the Deep South? Yeah, where are you from? Last night, or Friday night, someone said Ashland, and I thought that was cool. Where are you from? Where? Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay, nice to have you from there. That's a good preposition, to be from there. Yeah. You see shit in Arkansas you won't see anywhere. I saw a 12-year-old girl smoking in Arkansas right in front of her children. It was unbelievable. So Little Rock, and what do you do in Little Rock?
Well, I was a nurse there a long time ago.
A long time ago. The last time they had health care. It was like 19... That was your joke, sir. Thank you very much. Stay with the crowd and don't laugh unless it's really funny. Good. Welcome. Nice to have you. Were you okay in the Deep South? Because it's kind of frightening for me.
Well, yeah, then I was fine in the Deep South.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to play there. I was in Pamplona, Alabama for the running of the Rednecks, and I was... I was gored by their sharp intellect, I have to tell you that. The busiest place was Kansas. Anybody been to Kansas? Man, you've been to Kansas? Oh my God, I had a summer job in Kansas. It was a hard job. My job was to go around the entire state of Kansas. Whenever a cow would take a shit, I'd have to put down a sign that said highest point in Kansas. It was like, okay then. I think we have way too much anger in our politics. Do you agree? I'm trying to get an anger out of this crowd. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I miss the days when politicians had a sense of humor. Remember back in the 1950s? I was there. Thanks, Dan. I love young people. Yeah, there was a senator, Margaret Chase Smith, female senator from the state of Maine. She was back when Republicans were moderate. She was a good person and often mentioned as a possible first woman president. She had a great sense of humor. A reporter asked her one day, said, Senator Smith, what would you do if you woke up and found yourself in the White House? She said, I would get dressed, run downstairs, apologize to Mrs. Eisenhower, and leave. So that's a sense of humor. You guys ready for a great show tonight? I'm really proud of our students. And this is the fourth showcase we've had for this group of students. Their introductory class and intermediate class. They've worked really, give a round of applause if you know someone or a family member of someone who's performing tonight. Yeah. Thanks for coming out and supporting them. They have worked so hard. I'm really proud of them. And getting us started tonight is a woman I've really appreciated getting to know as well. She's a natural comedian, beautiful, talented as well. Please welcome Hannah Miller, ladies and gentlemen. Hannah Miller!
Hey everybody! Is this on? I like to be really loud. Okay. Shout out to all my friends and family who came tonight. And Stones for coming. My friend Haley, she's been to a few shows. Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay, great. My sister, the other night, we had a show, and I asked her to come sit in the front row and record me. Oh, she's here! And I didn't realize how much of a boomer she was, because she forgot to press record. So, it's okay. I hope we're getting it. Okay, great. Thanks. Anyway, so my boyfriend went on this all-guys camping trip a few weeks ago in Whistler, Canada. And the day before he leaves, he's like, babe, let's share locations in case a bear attacks us. You can find me. That's a spot-on impression of him. So I was a little hesitant because I'm a stalker. Retired, but can easily lace up my sneakers and get back in the game. But I agreed to sharing locations because, you know, bears. And about a week goes by, I'm not really checking it, because Canada's just like a big green blob on my phone. But I want to know what time he'll be home. And so I start checking and refreshing and checking and refreshing, and not like a stalker, just like chill, checking, refreshing. And I see that they are just north of Seattle in Arlington, Washington, at this place called Your Fantasy Espresso. That's the letters UR and then Fantasy Espresso. It's a great name. Now I support women. I support women who want to work corporate jobs, and I support women who want to make chai tea lattes in their underwear. And maybe your fantasy is the #1 rated drive-through espresso shop in Arlington, Washington, so he had to go there. But I've seen my boyfriend drink 2-day-old coffee that's been sitting out on the counter, so he don't need to go there. And if you're not familiar with your fantasy, if you've never been there, you don't support women. Just kidding. It's like a bikini barista. They're on like Marine Drive, Columbia Boulevard. If you don't know what that is, it's like if Dutch Brothers and Spirit Halloween had a sexy baby that we totally support. So I start to have this, I start to do a little bit of research, just like very chill, liberal girl research. And did you know that there are 4 Starbucks, a Boulevard Espresso, a Sunrise Espresso, and a McDonald's, all within a half a mile of your fantasy? Not to mention the Wyndham Garden Inn in Arlington, Washington, serves a free continental breakfast that he chose not to partake in. I checked. So I'm having this like internal conflict. I'm like, Hannah, you're wiser now, you've had a few relationships. Do you really care if your boyfriend got a coffee from a 20-something in her panties this morning? And I'm like, he's never asked me to make him coffee in my underwear. You know, if every morning he was like, babe, get up, put your thong on, make me a coffee. Gotta go to work without my thong coffee, can't have my thong coffee. I'm gonna go back to sleep without my thong coffee. Then I'd be like, I get it. Men have needs. Get your thong coffee. But he's never done that. Weird. So my feelings were valid. So I think, what does any really progressive, chill, just like Portland girlfriend do in this situation? Not get mad. So I ran to the mall, grabbed some lingerie, came back home, brewed some coffee, and waited by the door with the coffee in my hand. And then when he came in, I said, "Is this your fantasy, bitch?" And I handed him the coffee. And he told me we should stop sharing locations immediately. No, but he's really awesome. He's a good sport. We had this show on Friday, like I said, my sister didn't record it. And I am always like looking at him. Oh my God, he's not in the seat. He did not leave. Oh, there he is. Okay. I'm always looking at him to like make sure like we're good, like he's not crying, he's not going to break up with me, because a lot of my jokes are about him. And on Friday he wasn't here. Like I looked for him, and he wasn't here. And then my friend was like, "He's sick, he's throwing up." And I was like, that's so weird, because he literally just dropped me off. And then when I got home, like 2 hours after the show, hour after the show, he was there and he was playing video games. That's strange. He had a smile on his face. He was like, "How was your show?" I was like, How are you? Like, you're dying. Like, what's going on? And then I went to examine the toilet. Chill, girlfriend. And I didn't see or smell any throw up. This isn't a joke or part of my set. It just didn't really sit right with me. So I just wanted to kind of throw it at you guys and see how you felt about it. Yeah. Anyway, there he is. He is being called out, so you can all look at him. Okay, anyway. He's a good sport. Feeling better, babe? Feeling good? Okay, good. No. Oh, he told me he had mild food poisoning and it had passed by the time I got home. Convenience. Uh-huh. You're good? Okay, let's keep going. No, but he's really awesome. We've been together for a couple years now. We met on the dating apps, and I feel like I was on them forever, since like 1996, I think, on the dating apps. And some friends are like, "Oh, what dating app did you guys meet on?" And I'm like, "He gets coffee from strippers. Obviously, we met on Tinder." Clearly, I think that's pretty obvious. No, but he's really awesome, really supportive. Comes to all my shows, but except when he's sick. Nobody cares. It's not a lingering resentment that I have. Anyway, he's really cool. I've been hearing a lot about the love languages lately, And so I asked him there's 5 love languages. It's like acts of service, quality time, affirmations, I don't know. Like, honestly, look them up. But I've been hearing a lot about them, so I asked him what his love language is. And he told me his is quality time. And so then he asked me mine, and I told him mine are obviously gifts and services. Done. And then I heard on a podcast that you give the love languages that you want to receive, like subconsciously. You perform them in hopes that you get them back subconsciously. And then I realized, wow, that's true. Like, I'm always buying him little presents when I go to the store, and like doing things for him, like letting him watch sports on the living room TV, and microwaving his dinner, like acts of service. And because his is quality time, he's always just there. Hanging out. No, but he's really awesome. We've had kind of a tough year because I have cancer. And I know that may sound scary and bad, because cancer is bad. But what I've realized throughout this situation is that I kind of love when people feel bad for me. I had to stay a few nights in the hospital when I was first diagnosed, like 6 months ago. And when I leaned into that, I realized that it was sort of just like an expensive retreat where you get really high and think about the meaning of life. And my doctor, my oncologist, is my shaman. Except I have way more drugs available to choose from. Except for Ozempic. I told her I would like to have an adult Make-A-Wish program, and I would like Ozempic, and she told me no. That was really rude. I was like, okay, you don't have cancer, whatever. No, but since my diagnosis, all my friends and family have sort of morphed into the people that I wanted them to be. And I feel like that I've honestly always deserved. Like, we're all just like maids and butlers now, and it's really great. Definitely worth it. Highly recommend. I don't have my notes written on my hand. You guys are crazy. Also at the hospital, when I was staying there, it was like a retreat because it was also kind of like a spa. Like, one of my nurses asked me if she could give me a sponge bath, and I said, girl, we already reached our out-of-pocket deductible max for the year. Go crazy. That was awesome. Highly recommend, again. And then another nurse told me she needed to give me a suppository, and I said, this place is wild. Y'all crazy. But, it's important to stay regular, so recommend that too. No, but the reason I got cancer is because I have this gene that's passed down from my mom. It's called BHRCA2, something like that. My mom has it, she gave it to me, and my sister didn't get it. And we have 2 kids, same parents, I got it, my sister did. You lucky bitch. No, but in fact, she's had like a really great life. She's a soccer star in high school, got full ride to any college she wanted for soccer, married a great guy, has a beautiful big house in the West Hills. I think she's maybe I've had cancer twice, and I think she's had like an ankle sprain once, maybe? She could confirm. Anyway, she's had a really amazing life, and the thing is, though, nobody likes someone like that. People like people who've been through things, who've had struggles. It builds character. And it's just not fair that God blessed me with all this character. And none for her. So I was sitting at home one day, eating an edible arrangement that someone had sent me. Feeling bad for the poor girl. And thinking about how I could help her. And I live in this like small 1-bedroom apartment. She has a big house in the hills, mentioned that. And I'm always driving around with like a bunch of crap that I need to take to Goodwill in the back of my car. And we hang out a lot, so I go to her house often, and so I've started just sneaking bags of stuff I need to take to Goodwill into her garage. Because like I might need it later, you never know, I'm not a hoarder. And she doesn't know about this, now she does, but I I'm just thinking maybe one day her boyfriend and her will like see it and he'll be like, babe, this looks like girl stuff. And she'll be like, it's not mine. And like, maybe that'll help her build character. I don't know. I'm just like a really good person. Can't prove that it won't. No, but my friends and family are just all way nicer to me now. Like, for example, one day I was sitting at home watching TV with my Tinder boyfriend. And we wanted to watch something on Showtime, and I don't have Showtime because I'm not freaking Jeff Bezos. So I text my friend group and I'm like, hey, does anybody have a Showtime password? P.S. I have cancer. And then one just appeared. It was amazing. I love that. No, but I don't just use my cancer to, manipulate people into getting what I want. Don't worry. I also use it to make people feel bad. The other day I was hanging out with a friend and she was like, I have a headache. And I'm like, oh, do you want some Advil? Take some Advil. And she's like, no, I don't like to put anything in my body that's not organic. And then I feel this warm tingle of opportunity. And I'm like, oh, you don't? That must be so hard to have a headache. Oh my God. Wow, some of us don't have that option unless you forgot. And then she felt really bad. And that made me feel really good. I'm not looking at my hand. No, but my doctor and I have gotten really close. I had an appointment with her the other day, my oncologist, and she was telling me like she's Chinese and her husband is Caucasian. And I was like, Caucasian? That's so fancy. I was like, mine's just a white frat bro. Where'd you get that? Must have been on like Raya or Match.com or something. It's for my millennials. I get it, everyone doesn't get that joke. Anyway, Raya's the one with celebrities that like Ben Affleck was on, it's whatever. No, but if you still feel bad for me after all that, I get it, because cancer's scary. And, but what you don't get is that I want you to feel bad for me. Because pity equals gifts. And gifts are my love language. I might be bald one day, but I'll be bald with a Birkin bag, God damn it. My name's Hannah, thank you.
Hannah Miller, ladies and gentlemen. Hannah Miller! And her boyfriend. What is your boyfriend's name, Hannah? We don't even know.
Jared, that's Jeff plus Karen.
I think that Jeff plus Karen was last night and you didn't know about it. All right, now, Jaron, ladies and gentlemen. Jaron. Such a good guy. Funny he showed up tonight. Yeah. Yeah, how'd she do, Jaron?
I loved it every time.
Okay. Yeah. My husband and I celebrated our 25th anniversary in December. Give it up for us. Yes, we did. The hardest thing, my whole family loves him. His whole family loves me. Trying to get Gary past my Republican mother in Florida, that was kind of hard in the late 90s, you know. My Fox watching mother. Yeah. We go down there, we're having dinner, and she goes, now which one of you is gay? And I'm like, okay. Which one of you needs Thorazine, Mom? Okay. And then she followed that with this gem. Well, we didn't have homosexuals in the 1950s. I'm thinking, well, somebody put the fins on those Cadillacs. Somebody did those beehive hairdos, come on. We have a friend, a lesbian friend, Jenny, who also has a right-wing mother in Florida. She said, I came out to my mom, and she said, what's next, Jenny? Heroin? Lesbianism, the gateway drug. Okay. Coming to the stage now, I just love all of my students, and Alice is fantastic. She's been in both classes. She has a beat about her that's perfect for her and perfect for Portland, and she can be perfect for you tonight. Please welcome Alice Carrier, ladies and gentlemen. Alice! Alice! There she is. Alice.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Perfect.
perfect. They told me when I was little on my report card that I was a perfectionist. I thought it sounded really great. I was like, I'm not perfect at anything, but that sounds fantastic. Thank you, Carl. Hey. I'm Alice. Hi. Thanks for coming. Do you guys know that people who meditate are not chill people? Yeah. I don't wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and put myself in a preemptive timeout before anything fucked up happens, because I'm mellow. I'm from the West Coast. People are uptight on the West Coast. Everything's gluten-free. You get a fucking kombucha at any truck stop along the I-5. I found drugs in the New Seasons parking lot the other day, and it was a psyllium husk capsule. We're not progressive, we're treating IBS. I used to trust hippies. And they gave me weird advice. Started making my own skincare products. I was putting fancy oil and fancy vinegar and fancy herbs on my face. And I realized it was salad dressing. And then I realized hippies use salad dressing like fucking duct tape. I looked at my list of Pinterest recipes and it's like salad dressing to mop my floor, salad dressing to wipe off my counters. I'm completely out of alternatives. Put a pair of giant googly eyes on my Oculus. It's a virtual reality headset. I'm not a gamer though. I know you're like picturing kind of like a cyber babe situation, but let me paint you a picture. It's me on a yoga mat in like tie-dye pajamas with my vape pen and like a rubber band around my ankles, just watching shark videos. It's really fun. I like a homespun fringe theory. I think stink bugs are fucking liars. I think they're making it up. How the fuck would I know? Take them outside every time. Pop the propaganda. I'm interested in anti-aging technology, but not because I want to look younger. I think kids are gonna make themselves look really old for fun. We already do it, but it's gonna be like a bunch of like skate dads at the mall. It's kind of like buying pre-ripped jeans, right? You fucker didn't earn that patina. Don't look haunted at all. Four-leaf clover is not good luck if you're a clover. Everybody saw what you did. Surrounded by three-leaf clovers who didn't fuck it up. It's nice. Everything's good luck for somebody. I think the little critters in my belly think I'm like God. And I like to imagine that they want my attention. Yeah. maybe they need me to settle their disputes. I imagine one coming out and being like, "Excuse me, Supreme Being, from whom I derive all of my resources and energy. Do you like me? Do you think I'm good?" I'd be like, "Fuck, what are you? Are you E. coli?" I'd be like, "What's that? Is it bad?" I'd be like, why don't you take this little probiotic and head home? I think everything's gonna be okay." All right, thank you very much.
Alice Carrier, ladies and gentlemen. Alice! God, I love Portland. Don't you love Portland? Klamath Falls? It's so wonderful and diverse and odd. Our dry cleaner is Mrs. Lee from Korea. Doesn't speak much English, but she communicates. A couple of years ago, I brought in a pair of jeans to be dry cleaned. They had a little red stain here. You're supposed to point it out. And she goes, "Is it a lipstick?" The first Beavers game I went to, remember the baseball they played? You guys remember? They actually played baseball here at PGE Park, and they brought a group of Native Americans in to sing the national anthem in their native language, and they got the words mixed up, and the game was rained out. So it was... I saw something today in Portland I had never seen before. I saw a car with Washington plates going the correct way down a one-way street. That was amazing. Are you from Washington, or you just know what I'm talking about? We all know what you're talking about. Okay, coming to the stage now, a gentleman I have the utmost respect for. He is a high-concept comic. I love him, and you're going to love him too. Please welcome Idris Wahed. Idris!
Hi everyone, my name's Idris, and recently I've been looking inside of myself, and it's pretty weird. And, I like to think I'm a rational person. I think we all do. I've come to accept that there are some parts of me that are just very irrational. Like that part of me that misplaces my phone in my home multiple times a day. And it's like, brain, where did you leave it? Where did you put the phone? And it's like, perhaps I left it on the bathroom counter. Or perhaps on the desk. Or perhaps it fell through the void, but there ain't a worse, never to be allowed to immortalize again. You have no idea where it is, do you? Don't idea, I'm so sorry. I hate losing my phone, because I have to put up with that every time. But yeah, I like to think of these parts of myself as distinct little characters with their own personalities and motives. They all want what's best for me. It's just some of them are not very good at their jobs. For example, there's this bespectacled old lady called Norris who lives in a broom closet-sized office in the back of my head. And she has filled this office wall to wall with filing cabinets, each stuffed with folders upon folders of irrational fears. Volcanoes, tornadoes, that earthquake that's gonna mess up the West Coast at some point, brown recluse spiders. And she shows up in my life in some weird moments. Like I'll go to Trader Joe's to get an easy lunch. I'll go to the refrigerated section, and I'll go to reach for that one at the front. And right as I'm about to grab it, I hear in the back of my head, "My dear, what do you think you're doing? Are you really going to take the one from the front? Don't you remember that radio broadcast of the news from 1998 where someone contaminated a salad at a supermarket?" it's like, Norris, when is the last time we knew anyone that that's happened to? It's like, oh, dear foolish boy. What if this is the one? Wouldn't you feel so very stupid for not listening to me? And so a 34-year-old man, to not feel stupid, look stupid instead by reaching around to get a salad from the back. But Miss Norris is not alone. There are other characters that want what's best for me. Even some of the ones who are responsible for my happiness suck at their jobs sometimes. There's a character I like to call the sleeper agent. And the sleeper agent is actually 3 Slavic dudes in tracksuits. Yuri, Ivan, and their nameless leader. And they're all about the dopamine. They're all about the quick dopamine score, the little heists. And they just lounge around all day, waiting for some Pavlovian cue to come along to wake up and spring into action. For example, I live too close to a Salt and Straw. And when springtime comes along, they run those waffle irons hot. And there is no escaping when I go outside the aroma of freshly baked waffle cones wafting in on a spring breeze. That person knows what's going on. And as that smell hits my nostrils, they awaken. What is that? It is ice cream. Yuri screams, Ivan screams, we all scream for ice cream. And for one beautiful moment, even though I'm trying to be healthy, I sincerely believe the closest I could be to heaven on earth is a scoop of chocolate gooey brownie and a freshly baked waffle cone. Troublesome guys. But it's interesting, like, they like the familiar stuff. They stick to the rivers and the lakes that they're used to. When it comes to chasing waterfalls, there's another character that comes into play. His name's Gus. I imagine him as a grizzled old prospector who's devoted his entire life for that one motherlode hit of dopamine that sets us up forever. And he came into my life fairly early. There was one time he came knocking on my little office door in my head, and he came in and he's like, kiddo, old Gus has done it. He has found the answer that we've been searching for our whole lives. You ain't gonna believe this. You've never heard an idea like this. You see, this is a bit of genius I came up with. You know when we've been crawling around the house? Those things in the wall, those that they call outlets? Old Gus been wondering, what do they let out? You plug a TV in, fun comes out. Stereo goes in, fun comes out. What comes out of the outlets is fun. And it struck me like a thunderbolt in that moment. Fun comes out of the outlet. And what I propose, we cut out the middleman and we go straight to the fun. And that is how I electrocuted myself when I was 4 years old. Yeah. Anytime you think to yourself, wouldn't it be neat if, and you know deep in your heart it would not be neat if, that's Gus. And fortunately, between maturity and experience and willpower, these guys are mostly kept in check. But sometimes they work together in some unexpected ways. For example, this past summer, I got out of a long-term relationship, and it was honestly very good for me. I really just enjoyed taking care of myself, focusing on me, until this weird moment in the middle of winter where I just felt profoundly lonely for some reason. And I was almost relieved when Gus came and knocking on my door. you're like, "Oh, hey, kiddo." Couldn't help but notice you seem down lately. And you know what? I think I got the answer. Wouldn't it be neat if we installed the dating apps? And Dad was like, "Gus, it would not be neat. But okay, let's go. I'm feeling a certain kind of way, let's do it." And so I do, and it does not take long for the sleeper agents to get on board, because swiping left and right and just embracing or erasing people from existence, great dopamine hits. Those guys are on board. So, it's fun at first, you kind of just really, I'm not really doing this, but eventually you kind of get hooked. And it's not long before the sleeper agents are ruining my sleep. They found an old beat down Cadillac somewhere in my mind that they fixed up. They're riding around the streets of my head like those guys from Night at the Roxbury, bump into that 1993 classic Hathaway. What is love? And what is love? Baby, don't hurt it to me. Don't hurt it to me. No more. This is great, Judy. Are you getting this? Great. And I'd wake up at 3 in the morning, my phone buzzed. I'm like, "Oh, is that a new match?" And those sleeper agents, they'd be like, "We have intercepted communications! Who's going to the lovely lady? What do you mean? This is dental appointment? What is a dental appointment? We do not care about dental care! Back to sleep!" After about 2 weeks of this, I realized, this is really distracting from all the things I'm trying to do right now. And in a clear-headed moment, a Cadillac crashes into a brick wall to 3 cursing Slavic dudes as I go to uninstall the apps. And as I get to the last one, I hear a familiar voice in the back of my head. "What are you doing, dude?" "Norris, what are you doing here? This is not your lane." "Oh, ditto, where do you think that crippling fear of being alone for the rest of your life came from?" As a matter of fact, you're not getting any younger, and I was rather hoping to pass my wisdom on to the next generation. What? You want to share your treasure trove of terrors with another generation? Screw that. Screw you. And next time, I'm taking the salad from the front. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you.
Greece, ladies and gentlemen, Greece Waterloo. And all of Greece's fans, there they go. Keep it going for Idris, really funny stuff. Idris is originally from Germany. Okay, thanks for that. After those 2 wars, they just don't get applause. I don't know what to tell you. My husband's from South Dakota. Oh, God. Wow, that's a lot more than it deserves, I'll tell you that. Gary's high school mascot was the Irrigators. I swear to God, their cheers like. Okay. Have you understood anything tonight, sir? Are you all right?
A little bit.
How old are you anyway? I have underwear older than you, frankly.
I don't think he's.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm 36.
36. Wow, thanks. I feel good. All right. How are you, sir? Good? Enjoying the show so far? Good. Gary said something to me the other night. We're eating dinner and he goes, "Is there anything worse than hard butter?" I'm thinking, genocide? How do you stay so slim? What's the secret? You're 36 and you're slim. What's the deal? A little heckling from the close friends there. A tapeworm. Okay. The introductory class begins April 17th. If you'd like to sign up, it'd be good, yeah. I cut out fast food, so that's a good thing for me. I'm losing a little weight. And about a year ago, last time to Burger King, and I remember because I ordered a burger, the woman behind the counter gave me the burger, then she said to me, would you like to contribute to cancer research? So I gave her back the burger. So I think a lot of these jokes you get on the way home, folks. There's no pressure tonight. You have a fucking laugh in the morning when you wake up. It's all good. It's a giving show. Coming to the stage now, she's just wonderful, as all of my students are, delightful, and you're going to love her. Please welcome Grace Ashita, ladies and gentlemen. Grace.
Yes, I'm Grace.
Hi, Grace.
And I'm in my late 50s. And you know, I've been single all my life. Well, I was married for about 6 years in there, but I was married to a gay man. And so I just kind of consider myself having been single all my life. But I consider, well, why did I marry a gay man? It was a failure of my dating coaches at the time. And I had a whole bunch of dating coaches, my mom and her little gaggle of Japanese ladies. Because you see, I was in my late 20s and my mother was extremely worried about me. I was going to be an old maid. Oh no. And she would tell her girlfriends, I'm so worried about Gracie. You know, she getting so old. She almost 30 and she don't marry. I don't know what I'm going to do. You know why she don't marry? She's so square. Gracie, she's so square. She's so square because you know, she no have a sexu. She will not do sexu. She no do sexu. She no marry. So she had it all figured out why I wasn't married. And so her little friends, they would try to help her too, or help me. I remember one of them. She's like, they're all short. She's like reaches up and she touches my face. You know, Gracie, you do sexu. Your pimple go away and your complexion clear up. So she's appealing to my vanity, thinking, you know, maybe that'll get me to loosen up a little bit. But my mom, I mean, it's just so funny because this is the very same woman that about 13 or 14 years before that, she was singing a whole different story. She was telling me, now, you in high school, you no get pregnant high school. Oh, no, shame. I so shame. Mama have to move, and Mama have to kill herself. Yeah, I graduated virgin from high school. You can imagine. Yeah, thank you. I get applause for being a virgin. I'm almost a virgin again. I could probably get applause again. I mean, how many years does it take to... Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't want to do the math. Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah. Well, a couple years ago, right during COVID, of course, I got a new job. But I have to say, I love my job. I love my new role. And then the bonus, the perk, I thought, oh, gosh, you know what? I love this job so much. I am never going to have to write another resume. I am never going to have to go on another job interview. I am so excited. I'm going to love this job, work this job, and then sail into my retirement years. And then I did a stupid thing, and I decided to enter the online dating world. Yes, that's right. Oh yeah, never write a resume. Write a profile. Don't go on a job interview? No, go on a date. That's right, where you're the interviewer and you're the applicant. So it really is the same thing. You're thinking, okay, now how do I dress, you know, that whole thing. But I have to tell you, I'm happy to report today that I went on my very first online dating date yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday, April Fool's Day. Yes, I know, it's not lost on me. That's how I roll. So, how many of you, especially those that are friends of mine, how many of you thought that I might have shown up like this? So nice to meet you. No, I He was a good sport. And you know what? He was actually very good looking. Better looking than his profile pic. And how often does that happen, right? Better looking in real life? Because that's what we know. We hear the stories about the pic switch. They don't look like their picture. But guess what? Pic switch, it's not a new thing. It's not new with online dating. It's 100 years old. How do I know that? Because my grandma would tell me stories about picture brides from Japan. Yes, she told me about these women. They would get on a boat, they'd get on the steamer ship and sail across the Pacific. They'd land here in Oregon, they'd have a picture of their future husband, and hopes and dreams. And they look down at the dock, they look at the picture. What, the picture of the dock? That's not the same guy. Or he's 30 years older. Most of the time, it wasn't even the same guy. And so most of the time, those ladies did not get off the ship. They just sailed right on back to Japan. I would too. But that's how it was. That's 100 years ago. Pick switch. It's not a new thing, folks. It's not a new thing. But, like I said, the dating thing, those stories, these stories about, oh, they don't look like their picture, or these, it kind of scared me off. That's why it's taken me this long to do it. I mean, one of my friends, she's telling me about this time she went on the date. She shows up at the guy's house. She's in the living room, and he's saying hi to her. She's greeting the dogs, and then she looks up, and he's gone. He disappeared, and then he reappeared. Buck naked. What? And she's like, no, this isn't happening. This is not happening. And he goes, what? Oh, okay, no. I just wanted to show you my hip surgery scar. That's all I wanted to do. Yeah, right, buddy. Right, yeah. But I really do think it's a thing, because this happened to me. Not in the same way, but the other day, I'm in the kitchen, I'm fixing the food, we're gonna watch a game. And my friend walks into the kitchen, and he says, check it out. He yanks down his pants. I wanna show you my hip surgery scar. It's healing really well, don't you think? My God, what is it? I don't wanna see your ass. What are you doing? What are you doing? But I think it's a thing. I think it's like adult show and tell. I'll show you my scar if you show me yours, And the reason I say that is because exactly 3 days after that, my date, he has to show me his gnarly knee surgery scar. I'm like, I am not playing this, dude. Come on. I'm not showing you my scars because I don't need to see your scars. I've seen them all. I've seen C-section scars, hysterectomy scars, appendectomy. I've seen them all. I don't need to see yours. Like, good. Thank you. But that's how it is. In the 50-plus dating world, I've noticed our conversations kind of flow into the medical. And all of a sudden, everything is ailments and medicine and medical, and I can't do this, and I can't do that, and I used to do this, and I can't remember that, and I can't do this. And I figured it out. It's 3 categories. 3 categories these conversations fall into. Okay? The first one, what hurts? My knees, my hips, my back. The second thing, what needs to be fixed or what has been fixed? Oh yeah, my knees, my hips, my back. And then the third category, not my favorite. It's what's all clogged up? Yeah, my nasal passages, my arteries, and oh yeah, my bowels. Let's talk about constipation, shall we? No, I'm sorry. I don't want to talk about constipation. But I have to say, every time that has been brought up, it's the guy. The guy brings it up. I'm not bringing that up. I don't know why they're so obsessed with constipation, right? I don't want to know. I'm looking and I see these faces, these beautiful young faces. Some of them are like deer in headlights, or a little bit dismayed, like, is this what I have to look forward to? But I want to promise you, no, I promise you, we're not so square, as my mama would say, you so square. No, we're not so square. And guess what? We're not dead. We talk about death a lot, but we're not dead. Hey, Mom, look,
my complexion's all cleared up.
Grace Messina, ladies and gentlemen. Grace Messina. Keep it going. Yeah. Grace and I were married for 2 years. That's Johanna with the. That's a sign you're really funny. Keep it going for Grace Messina, ladies and gentlemen. All my students want to know about the road, and there are great places to play, and then there are some not so great places to play. I mentioned Richland, Washington a little while ago. Richland, I was doing my dog and cat material in Richland, and some woman in the backyard, she had a lab. I said, what kind? She said, meth. And does anyone have a dog? Who's got a dog? What kind of dog you got?
Labrador.
Yeah, they just got bumped by Frenchies. Did you know that? Frenchies is the number one dog. I had a lab in LA. I love my lab. And I was young. I got a lab. My lab was twitching when he slept, and I spent $100 at the vet to hear what?
That's more
Dreaming, having nightmares. The vet said your dog is having nightmares. That'll be $100. Thank you. And I'm thinking, what's a nightmare for a dog? He's drinking from the toilet bowl and the lid falls on his head? And animals are important in Los Angeles because animals are very sensitized to the Earth's movements. They can actually predict earthquakes and run for cover. Do you guys know this? You're on the freeway, you see an airport bus packed with schnauzers. Get the hell out of town. Welcome back from the bathroom. You guys ready? Something was clogged, dare I say? Coming to the stage now, I just get tired of saying I adore my students, but I'm really proud of them, and I do. And she's from the great state of Washington, and I love her. Please welcome Maytal Markman, ladies and gentlemen. Maytal!
Although I don't appreciate a lot of your Washington jokes tonight. You can see, hey Nick, what's up? You can see what a good teacher Carl is because he accidentally said farting in the middle of another joke and everybody laughed, so he just taught it me that if I fuck up tonight, I could just be like, farting. I mean, I'm done. Okay, cool. So hi, my name is Maytal, and I am not from around here. I grew up in the Bronx. Thank you! Fuck yeah, thank you. I'm here to represent the Bronx. So, I grew up in the Bronx, and I, unlike some East Coasters, I never had like great aspirations to move out west. I thought I'd stay in New York more or less my whole life. In fact, I didn't even really have a big geographical frame of reference of the West Coast. I had no knowledge of the greater Portland metro area. I just knew the geography that's essential for all New Yorkers, which is the train station by your building, the train station by your school, in Florida. So it's a little bit surprising to me that I find myself here in the greater Portland metro area. I moved to Portland 6 years ago, but then a couple years ago, my family and I chose to move across the river to Vancouver, Washington. And thank you! It's definitely not my husband clapping right now. Well, let me tell you, surprise, surprise, when I figured out that I just moved to the New Jersey of Portland. Didn't see that one coming. It does take some getting used to, and I don't just mean Vancouver life. I mean the greater Portland metro area. It takes some getting used to for a girl from the Bronx. For example, the customs here, when it comes to talking to strangers in public, are a little bit different from where I'm from. Everyone, I think, has this experience. You're at the supermarket, you get to the checkout counter, you're minding your own business, but then the greeter's like, how's your day going so far? Super perky. I wasn't expecting that, but I live here now, and I jumped right on that bandwagon, and so now I know that at the supermarket, I'm expected to say, great! How's your day going so far? I can do it. Just takes some getting used to. There's other things that take getting used to. For example, here in the greater Portland metro area, we care very deeply about other people's feelings. We don't want anybody to... Honestly, that's the end of that. No, it's funny because it's true. So we take great pains to not make anybody around us feel like maybe they've done a thing that's unexpected, perhaps. Okay. But here, 6 years into living in Portland, I was at the theater recently. Just picture for a moment, please. This was a theater. And I got to my seat, and there was already someone sitting in the seat next to me, which is fine. She had decided to take over the cup holder that was shared between us, which is also still fine. She then turned to me and started talking to me, which I was prepared for. And she wanted to let me know that her beverage was in fact a hot beverage, which I did not need to know, but I smiled and nodded because I didn't want her to think that that was unnecessary information to share with a stranger. But then she reached into her backpack and pulled out a battery-powered electric milk frother and started frothing her hot beverage. And I had to pretend that that was normal because this is Portland and we do not want to make anybody feel bad about themselves. Takes some getting used to. Other things that take getting used to are all the trigger warnings everywhere. We don't want anybody to find themselves having a feeling that they hadn't planned or anticipated in advance. I'm sure that soon New Seasons will put a trigger warning in the dairy aisle for vegans. But you know what trigger warning I would love to see that doesn't yet exist? Is the trigger warning for New Yorkers who go to the biolab at OMSI expecting to see science and are instead greeted with an exhibit of hissing cockroaches. I was triggered. I wanted to pick up the phone and call my super and let him know that there was a situation in my apartment. Where's my sign? And P.S. I did not buy the Family Deluxe membership at OMSI so that I could take my kids to see a fish tank full of cockroaches. Okay. Takes some getting used to. Another thing that takes getting used to here in the greater Portland metro area is the pace of life. And I grant you that being from New York, really the pace of life anywhere would take some getting used to. But here I feel like it's a little bit special. For example, there was some snow last month. Oh, sorry. Trigger warning for anyone who was stuck on the 26th 2 weeks ago. I'm about to talk about snow. So there was some snow, and there was a snow day, which I'm used to that now. I'm used to that, like any little bit of snow, they're going to close the schools. Fine. But over where I live, up in the Jers, we just had a dusting of snow, and so when the schools were closed for day 2, I was like, well, does anybody care that like people have to do things with their lives? And no one cared. My husband had a ski trip planned that same week, and his ski trip was also canceled because of the snow. Nobody was fazed by this, and I was just sitting in my car, and I'm just like, what is it about we the people of the greater Portland metro area
that we seem to have no problem with things taking like a little bit more time than they really need to. And often when I'm sitting in my car, I have National Public Radio on. And it happened to be the top of the hour. And for those of you, anyone an NPR fan? I mean, why did I ask? This is Portland. So then for those of you who are familiar, you know what's coming. At the top of the hour, this is what it sounds like on National Public Radio here in the greater Portland metro area. KOPB-FM Portland, KOAB-FM Bend, KRBM-FM Pendleton, KOBK-FM Baker City, KTVR-FM LeGrand, KOGL-FM Glen Eden Beach, KOAP-FM Lakeview, KTMK-FM Tillamook, KOTD-FM The Dalles, KOBN-FM Burns, KOPB AM Eugene, KOAC AM Corvallis, KOAC FM Astoria, KHRV FM Hood River, KETP FM Enterprise, KOJD FM John Day, and you can find us anytime on the web at opb.org. And I was like, oh, it all just clicked into place. Of course we don't mind a second snow day, because for 45 seconds an hour, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, which I calculated is 4.5 entire days every year, all we do is listen to radio station call signs. Whereas, this is what NPR sounds like in the Bronx. WNYC-FM, New York. And then we get on with our day. Thank you!
They call Markman, ladies and gentlemen, they call. Okay. We're going to have a pledge drive now. And one more time for everybody on the show tonight. Really good stuff. As Patrick mentioned, PortlandComedy.com is a website if you want to sign up for any of the classes, improv or stand-up. I think we have 2 slots still available for the introductory stand-up.
It's just a few.
Just a couple. So get on there and you can be as funny as my students, okay?
Wow.
I'll take that as a yes. Okay. So who is from Washington? Are you, sir? You yelled for me? Well, I know that. I want to make up to all...
My friends are here from Washington.
Yeah, let's have all the Washington people applaud. All right, guys. I'll say a couple jokes about Washington tonight. I am guilty of them, but I will make it up to you. I think Washington voters are amazing, maybe the best in the country, because in 2012, Washington voters on the same election day approved both gay marriage and legalized pot. Give it up for them. Come on. Which is teaching the rest of us that people were just reading the Bible incorrectly. In Leviticus, it says if a man sleeps with a man, he should be stoned. All right? Okay. Therese, how are you? Therese is one of our students, and you look like you could be funny, sir. You look like you could be hilarious at 30-fucking-6. All right. You gotta sign up. It's all good. Joining us now, a wonderful guy who does Napoleon's improv classes here as well, right, Patrick?
That's correct.
That's correct. And obviously, he has some improv students and some fans here. Please welcome Napoleon Benito. Bring him up, ladies and gentlemen. Napoleon!
Wow, how is everyone? Doing good? My name is Napoleon Benito. I am an Asian persuasion from the north. Because I am a Canadian Filipino. Otherwise known as a Kanakapino. living in Canada, I have the ability to play ice hockey incredibly well. I also can have really good sex in a canoe. And my penis is measured in centimeters. That's right, adolescent lads in Canada usually start out in double digits. For those of you wondering, we're looking at 10 centimeters. Did I say 10? I meant 20 centimeters of northern passion. That's a lie. I'm Asian too, so. But it's kind of weird how, when it comes to penises, we only focus on the one dimension, right? So if you brag about your 12-inch dong, you got a foot long, right? What if that foot-long cock was pencil thin and never got hard? Terrible. Can you imagine peeing with that thing? I mean, take a high-pressure hose and just turn it on full and just let it go. What happens? It's just all over the place, right? It's like the end of Carrie. They're gonna laugh at you. I think if I had that kind of penis, one of my worst nightmares would be, I don't know, getting hot and heavy with a circus clown. You know? Oh, what would you like today? Giraffe? Oh, yeah. So now that I've talked about my penis, and it's all on your minds, I am 50 plus, and have recently been divorced, which means I too, like many of my comedians before me have talked about, have done the dating app thing. And yeah, you're all familiar with them. There's one for everyone. There's, your Tinder, Grindr, you have your eHarmony, OkCupid, you name it, right? Something for everyone. Going on there, I did notice though that it seemed to be for a younger crowd, right? And that's fine, I guess, if you're looking for, maybe someone looking for a sugar daddy, right? Brown sugar daddy. Canadian maple brown sugar daddy. But we all know there's no such thing as rich Canadians. But so I did some further digging, and I did find something more age appropriate for we older folk. There's a site called Our Time. Are we familiar with Our Time?
Yeah.
Yes. I may have seen you there, actually. Anyway. Our Time. It sounds nice, right? It's like you have lived, or we've all lived a wonderful life, spanning decades. And now it's time for us to reclaim our time. I wish there were more honesty in the marketing, though. Instead of our time, it probably should be out of time. Or time's up. Or last call. But also, there's like the hookup culture. I'm 50 plus, but it doesn't mean we don't like sex, right? I like to fuck. I love fucking. Throw it out there. So there should be again, sites for us older folk, us horny older folk. It would be like, I don't know, Wrinkled and Randy. Or Got One More in Ya? Or my personal favorite, Dry Bones. Whatever the site, you know that the font is going to be extra big and legible. And the ads are going to feature things like incontinence diapers and encouraging you to download apps to help sharpen your memory, right? And if you look at the profiles on these dating apps for older folk, they'll be like, takes frequent naps. Or has mastered the art of gumming. I can gum a banana for hours. and perhaps involuntary role play. Because yes, we forget who we are. Anyway, so I mentioned I am Canadian. I grew up in a little town called Georgetown, just outside of Toronto, where I was maybe one of 3 visible minority families in a township of tens of thousands. So I kind of stood out. And yeah, and there's some cool things about it. You know, if you want to be special and unique, maybe even exotic, that was kind of cool. But when you're growing up in a town like that, you know, the last thing you want to do is like be front and center. You kind of want to just blend in. I'm one of you, right? And one of these times where I struggled with this was during grade school. We were doing a play. I'm a grade 5, so it's 10 years old, of Alice in Wonderland, where I wanted to be one of the guards for the Queen of Hearts, right? Me and a bunch of friends. There were several parts for that. It was great. The audition went really well. Little Scottish woman who was our teacher was like, very good children. Betty, you're going to be the 3 hearts. And Ashley, you can be the 8. And Napoleon, you can be the ace of spades. It's like, oh, spades. It's like, everyone else is a heart, why am I a spade? I don't know, just okay, fine, that's fine. 2 years later, going for, the school did a production of Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book. Story about a young Indian boy who brought by wolves in the jungles. And I wanted to be the lead. I wanted to be Mowgli. So, I studied really hard. I really got the songs down, even threw in a bit of dancing, you know, really want to nail it. And as I entered, you know, even during the audition, just like practice in the other room, but it was my time to come on, and there I was in a sea of all my white schoolmates. I walked on, got on the stage, and before I even said a word, the casting director was like, he's your Mowgli. And I was like, oh, wow, huh, that's really weird. Like, he must have heard me singing and practicing before. You know, he must have just, maybe the way I walked up, maybe I just showed extra confidence. Something had to really just make me perfect for it. And then I thought, oh, dang it. You probably saw me as the Ace of Spades 2 years ago. So that went well. Yeah, so I'm also Filipino, I mentioned that earlier. For those of you not familiar with the Philippines. Way back in the day, the Spaniards were doing their thing, conquering parts of the world, and they came upon a bunch of islands in Southeast Asia, where they went there and partied with the natives, and 9 months later, Filipinos were born. It's a really simple version of what actually went down, but you get the idea, right? Anyway, so Filipinos, I mean, you may recognize them for their accents. Very distinct. We typically replace our F's with P's and our V's with B's. So an example, counting 1 through 5 in English, be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 4, 5. Another thing too is that, you know, we like to point with our lips. It's a thing. Where's the bathroom? It's over there. And oftentimes, if you ever go to their house, the first thing out of their mouths isn't, welcome to my home, or what's your name? It's first words, have you eaten? Come on, you eat, come on. They really want you to eat their food. It's most important thing. Even during a home invasion, people bust in their house and, you know, right after the initial surprise, like, if you're going to eat, there's rice over there. But yeah, because of the clashing, or the clashing, with the Spanish coming in and taking over those islands, Filipinos are typically referred to as Latino Asians, which means we do really well academically. We're also really good at dancing. And they are very passionate with the lovemaking. But the funny thing about Filipinos is that I was never attracted to them growing up. I mean, don't get me wrong. Beautiful, beautiful people. I remember that, it's just, I blame the culture because growing up as little kids, family gatherings, right? All Filipino families get together and do their thing, food, always the food. And, people running around and you just become friends. Like you just know each other so intimately. You do these things all year and suddenly we're so tight with each other, we start referring to each other as cousins. So, fast forward, that's fine. When you're 10, it's like, yeah, go play with cousin Kathy, she's fine, It's all great. But then you get older and you start, hit your teens, you start feeling different. And you go to one of these events and you're like, wow, who is that? You go to my mom, hey mom, who's that? It's like, oh, you know her, that's Kathy, she's going to be a nurse. She's your cousin. And I was like, oh. So not interested. Every time I entertain the idea of dating a Filipino woman, could not help but hear the faint sounds of banjos playing in the background and the pitter-patter of my mutant inbred children that would result from having a future with this woman. So yes, I didn't really pursue any Filipino women. For me, I was always looking for, I just loved white women, particularly European. And bonus points if you have an accent. So, I looked for French women. Oh la la. Comment ça va, je t'aime. I want to make love to you. Or how about Russian? Hey, Yuri, you want some ice cream? But for me, my ultimate fantasy was Scottish women. And I know I brought up Scottish women with my grade 5 teacher. That's for me and my therapist to discuss. But I'm going to tell you this fantasy anyway, because for me, a Scottish woman, I don't know. This is how it could go, right? Like, oh, hello, lad. How would you like to play on this golf course? You'll notice all the areas around the holes are well groomed. I have an amazing grip when I toss a caber. And you've never seen anyone play bagpipes like this before. I know it's hot, right? It's weird, when I do a Scottish accent, you probably think, like, he looks like Moana, but I hear Shrek. I know, it's fucked up. But so those are sort of my fantasies I have. And then you're probably wondering, like, what about Filipinos? Well, that's easy. This is what it's like to have sex with a Filipino woman. Have you eaten? Come on. Okay, before we begin to fuck, I will give you fellatio. Okay, cousin? I love you. Thank you very much.
Napoleon Benito, ladies and gentlemen, good stuff. Napoleon, keep it going for Napoleon. It's wonderful stuff. I think my students are ready to hit the road with comedy. What do you think? Are we ready? The only thing about comedy that's bad is the traveling. Anybody fly a lot?
Sure.
Betal, back and forth to Vancouver, do you?
California.
To California?
Tomorrow.
You're leaving tomorrow morning? Are you going to go do some comedy down there? What are you going for?
Work.
Work, okay. Wish her well. She's going to California. I had the worst flight number about 5 years ago, and I've flown for, done shows in all 50 states, 500 cities. What was the worst flight number I ever had? What was it?
666.
666, thank you. Little
I
devil
just
group
guessed.
here. Oh, that was you? Oh, 666? Oh, no. Anybody else? 9/11. Thanks for bringing the crowd down. Okay. My flight number was 5050. Welcome aboard Flight 5050. We've got an even shot of getting off the runway today. I think the worst experience was 1986, Valentine's Day, flying into O'Hare. It was a blizzard. O'Hare was shut. The pilot came on, this is exactly what he said. He said, O'Hare's been shut. We've been diverted. We should have enough fuel to get to Minneapolis. Nuns are going, fuck. When you sit next to a nun who says fuck, it changes your whole attitude. I'll tell you that right now. All right, joining us, though, we have two more comics. They are absolutely terrific. Thanks for staying tonight on a rainy Sunday night. You're going to love these next two performers. One of my all-time favorites. She's a storyteller, a great comedian. Please welcome Hannah Michelati, ladies and gentlemen. Hannah!
I am what is commonly referred to as a recovering godaholic. Yes, I was raised extremely Christian, but not this kind of Christian. Those are the ones that do the rhythmic gymnastics in the pews, and then they eat someone's body and drink their blood at the end of the service. Those are the Catholics. And according to my dad, the Catholic God is not the real God. I was raised this kind of Christian. Could you all please just gather with me real quickly and close your eyes in prayer so we can have the most power spiritually? God, Lord Jesus, I pray that you speak to young Kyle's heart. He has just joined our congregation. He means so well, but God, we want you to forgive him for his sins in Las Vegas. God, we know Kyle loves women. Despite the fact that there were many men in his room that he spent time with, we know Kyle loves women, and we know that you can bring the light into his life, and you can show them the truth and the way that is through you, God. In your name we pray, amen. I was raised that kind of Christian. And when you're deep in it, you don't really realize how deep in it you are. I was 4 years old when I went to VBS, a lot of acronyms, Vacation Bible School. I was in the CLB, Church Ladies Basement. And she asked me, Hannah, do you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior into your heart? And as a 4-year-old, that's a really big question. Then she whipped out a troll pencil, and I said, yes. So it wasn't until 4th grade when I kind of came up for air and started realizing that maybe I was a little bit different than everybody else. So I learned 3 things distinctly. First, how to play the Oregon Trail. And I'm really good at it. Second, that I was being groomed for this virgin bride, everlasting life with Jesus Christ, who I'd never met and probably never would meet until I died. And that my friends weren't being raised that way. They weren't going to church on Sunday, and then for youth group on Thursday, and then extra church on Friday, and then why not go back on Saturday? Third and finally, we are taught that God is this amazing, loving, kind God who performs miracles, and he makes all the breweries and wineries happy because he turns water into wine. And yet, he did not spare a single person from cholera or dysentery on the Oregon Trail. And I lost a lot of people in the game because of that. So there's some more language I want to clear up because I've probably already been a little confusing. So you have God, who is his own entity, the Father. Then you have Jesus, the Son, who's also his own entity. And then you have the Holy Spirit, which is like Casper of Christianity over here. And they're all 3 separate entities, but they are also one entity, which is not in any way confusing. And this was my introduction to threesomes. So in 5th grade, things got really bad, though. Satan started publishing books. Lucifer sank his claws into Bloomsbury Publishing House in the United Kingdom and put out Harry Potter. Truly, witchcraft on a page. They've got spells, they've got wands, the whole kit and caboodle. I was reading Harry Potter at the time, but my father, staunch, Christian, charismatic, evangelical, surprise coming, Republican. He did not know I was reading Harry Potter. He just knew I was heavily engrossed in a novel. And then one night, some called it a dream, some called it a nightmare. I was sleepwalking and talking, and I was looking for my wand underneath my bed. My dad found out I was reading Harry Potter. He took the book and he burned it. That kind of Christian, I'm telling you. So in 6th grade, my mom attempted to right the ship. And she sent my best friend Nadine and I, accidentally, to a Seventh-day Adventist church conversion camp. I didn't even think that anything was wrong, despite the fact that every night for 2 hours we had worship and full court Jesus press. But every night we were served, first night, facos. Those are fake tacos. I am not a marketing expert, but I would bet a small fortune that fake tacos sound so much better than facos. Night number 2, we had ficken. And night number 3, we had fat dogs. And this was the only way that I picked up that something was off, not the Jesus crucifixion talk. So when we got home, I was telling my parents all about it. My dad was like, what the hell kind of camp did you send the girls to? My mom looked at the pamphlet and she was like, oh my gosh, it was a Seventh-day Adventist camp because they don't eat meat. And my dad, ever the welcoming Christian, was like, well, the Adventist God is also not real. So that was a waste of money. Christianity is really great, though, because there's this concept of forgiveness. You can ask for forgiveness for anything you've ever done to anywhere, anyone, anywhere. As my dad likes to say, Hannah, we're going to be in heaven with Ted Bundy. According to Fox News, Ted Bundy accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior and was immediately forgiven of all of his sins, so he has access to the kingdom of heaven. If by that logic, let's go upstairs for Thanksgiving dinner really quickly, okay? So we've got Teddo, who is popping bottles, like ecstatic he got away with everything, from a sheer numbers perspective. His victims are also there, filing complaints that they have to have everlasting life with Ted. We also have acclaimed cult leader, Amy Coney Barrett, who will be gracing the table. Next to her, a therapist, the rapist, Brett Kavanaugh. And at the other end of the table, across from Jesus Christ, in a MAGA hat, will be the Orange Troll King, Trump himself. Like, this is the Thanksgiving table in heaven. I mean, sign me up. I don't know who doesn't want to hang out with these clowns for everlasting life. But basically, heaven sounds like Florida. And if that's the case, that means Ron DeSantis is God. Yes. So what I want to know is, who is Ron having that threesome with? I don't think it's King Charles, and I don't think it's Mickey Mouse. Because there's no possible way that Ron could be trying to implement these laws against my people, women, without someone else in his ear and someone in his ass. No, but Christianity really gets a bad reputation, so I'm going to close out on one of the best things about it, which is fairness. So we've got the Bible, you've probably heard of it, there's the 10 Commandments, you've heard of those. If you go against the 10 Commandments, that's called a sin. In Christianity, all sins are equal. So, going to your fantasy coffee bar when you have a girlfriend with cancer is the equivalent sin of, I don't know, a guy who kills 30 women in the 1970s and 80s. Same sin level in the eyes of God and the eyes of the church. This is why we have church and state. It's a really good thing. For some people, Ron doesn't want that. So the best way to explain this is through purity, because they want to make sure that all the Christians don't have before marriage. They don't even use that word. They use the word to fornicate. In fact, before I got married to my non-believing husband, big deal, he was labeled as the fornicator by my father. My family members are here, not my dad, and they are dying because they've never heard that before. True story, I found it out last week. So in the church, there are two conversations that happen about purity, and they're the same. One happens for the boys, and I'm going to give you that talk right now. So, Dave, did you want to kick us? No? Okay, I'll kick us off. Yeah. Hey guys, men, just keep it in your pants. If it slips out and you just want to see how it feels and it goes inside for a little bit, that's okay. Never tell your future wife. Let's bring it in. Go, God! For the girls, this is really redundant, but this is what it sounds like. Okay, ladies, what you have in front of you is a textbook, so it teaches you how not to get the men to lust after you because that's your job. They can't control themselves, so you must... Yes, Barbara, what's your question today? Oh, about what you did with your boyfriend this weekend. Well, why don't you tell us about what you did with your boyfriend this weekend? Okay, yeah. It is like apple tree, Eve, you, the apple, Adam, like, oh my gosh. Barbara, I know why your boyfriend lusted after you. I saw you in church last week, and your skirt was 2 inches too short. That's why he wanted to sex you. It's all your fault. You know what? You can't ask for forgiveness. You can try. You may not receive. Side note, we're going to tell everybody in the congregation about the sin that you've committed, because in the Christian faith, there's strength in prayer. So if everyone knows about your sin, the entire congregation can pray for you, and maybe you can get forgiveness for that sin. Also, what we're going to do, Barbara, is we're going to hand you these 2 suitcases of emotional baggage that we're going to make you carry around for an entire decade. We're also going to bring in the cast of crew of Game of Thrones so they can say, shame, shame, every time you walk through the church. And the very best you can possibly hope for in a future spouse is this nice young man. His name is Kyle. He just had a crazy weekend in Vegas. Peace be with you.
Hannah McElwain, ladies and gentlemen. Hannah! Are you relating to that right there? Amen! Yeah, one more time for Hannah. It's great. So much of the 80s for me was these TV preachers. It was endless comedy. Jim Baker, Jim Swaggart got caught with prostitutes. We found out how those Bibles got in all those hotel rooms.
Well, now you know why I'm divorced. That's your daughter. That's my daughter.
Oh! Hannah's mom. What's your name? Nora?
Yeah.
Give Nora a round of applause. Praise God. Praise Jesus. Hannah's really talented, isn't she? Going to hell, but really talented. I'm kidding. She's going to fucking hell is where she's going. All right. My mom just called. Oh God. My mother's 95. She's always complaining nobody ever calls her, so I got her one of those "How am I driving" bumper stickers. So. I'm so glad to meet you. I've heard about you in class. Well, I've heard about your... I heard about your whole family. Coming up, our last performer tonight, last but not least, he is just tremendous, and your husband would enjoy him, actually. Keeps us all in stitches. He's brilliant. You're going to find out why. Please welcome Nick Altishan, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Altishan.
The reason that was funny is because I'm gay. And that's why this microphone feels kind of small. I'm just saying. I wouldn't need any lube, just spit. Yeah. I'm not just gay, I'm also a faggot. I know that's a rough word. There's like a lot of hate and trauma and anger around that word. It's also literally the most efficient way to describe me. People are like, Nick, why do you refer to yourself as a faggot? And it's like, well, when you put on a harness and a jockstrap and call it a Power Rangers costume, it becomes required. When you spend your last weekend in San Diego playing kickball, getting railed by 3 guys in your hotel room, and you only bother to learn 2 of their names. At that point, you just kind of have to refer to yourself as a faggot, like, legally. When you enter names now in your phone with guy who fingered me on the dance floor, November 12th, ... Mark? Question mark? The DMV just like shows up at your house and updates your driver's license for you. You know, just like name, Nick, date of birth, faggot. Expiration date, 27, sorry. That joke was for gay people. All gay men are named Mark, by the way. And all with a K. People are like, do you know my gay friend named Mark in Portland? I was like, yes, I do. No, we're talking about like levels of gay here, right? Like, there's cut-off shorts and iced coffee in January. That's pretty basic. Then there's going to a party, you see a guy, he's really cute, he comes up to you and says, hey, nice to meet you. And it's like, hey, you've been inside me before. But if you could remind me of your name, thank you so much. Yeah, it's like, how do you know when to start using the word? There are signs. It accumulates like the snow. I would say a really distilled moment is I was going to a concert for a Norwegian pop diva. None of you will know who she is. I then went to an after party with my friend, then another after party. It's 5 a.m., we're getting home, and we don't realize that we have accumulated glitter over the course of the whole evening, just starting at the cheekbones and going all the way down 2 places. And so the next morning we wake up and it looks like an employee from Claire's Accessories at the store just got fucking murdered in my bed. And it's like, this is gonna be harder for me to clean up than chlamydia. That's 7 days. This was 4 times in the laundry. I just shared a lot. I would say one thing that's confusing about the word faggot, about reclaiming that is, you know, on one hand you're like, oh, this is a joyous revolution. I'm taking the power back, yeah. And on the other hand, when I get confronted with actual homophobia, I just get kind of horny. You know, like I was at a grocery store parking lot and a guy sort of walks up to me and he's wearing a gray tank top and cargo shorts, so already I'm like, ugh. You know, just I feel myself tense up and he's like, hey, you're a little faggot. And I'm like, oh my god! Are we gonna fuck? Is your name Mark? So I have been told there are a lot of straight people here tonight. Gross. No, I love straight people. It's really cute listening to you talk about dating. It's so boring. You would not last 5 minutes in a bathhouse. No, I love straight people because they always ask me why I'm single, and it's a compliment. They're always like, you're so handsome, how are you single? And that's cute because straight people have never seen an attractive person before. You don't know what they look like. Like, gay people are so attractive. Like, straight girls are like, your arms are looking so big and your eyes are huge, and gay guys are like, you're so funny. Like, I'm hot to straight people, but to gay people, they're like, you're a hoot. You just crack me up every time. And it's like, I'm naked, so I don't know what we're talking about. No, I love straight guys. They're so simple. And there's a chance they're always a little bi, so that's fun. I love straight women. You know, I made best friends with an English teacher or 2 in my day in high school. I had a grandmother. I really get y'all. My parents are straight, probably, and that's great for them. You know? They were super supportive growing up. They were totally fine having a gay son. They did not know what to do when they found out that they had a little fag son. I would say they supported my sexuality in the same way that you just automatically click that box accepting the terms and services agreement without actually reading through it. You know, they're just scrolling, they're like, unconditional love, like, listen to Wicked a few times. Like, oh, that sounds great, done. They didn't realize that for the rest of their lives, they would have to, at a moment's notice, correctly rank every single one of Cate Blanchett's performances. I bet they didn't know that they'd have to learn their son's favorite brand of poppers. Poppers are VHS cleaner that when you puff it through your nose, it gives you a head rush and relaxes your asshole for sex. And my favorite brand is Double Scorpio Rose Gold. I'm so gay that my favorite brand of asshole relaxers is named after astrology and flavored rose gold. That's the level we're dealing with here, people. I'm so gay that when I came out to my parents, their first response was, honey, we know. To which I responded, okay, wow, you're just like really stepping on my moment. No, that's fine. We can talk about you and your unconditional love. Oh my God. Not allies. Now, I know we talked about how I knew, but like, how did they know? Yeah, there were a lot of signs. A lot of signs had to do with the musical Cats. I would say the distilled moment for my family was when I was a kid. I was playing t-ball, which is a dumb sport. Like, nothing happens. It requires no skill. It just sits there. It's stupid. Why children? My dad was coaching, which was very, very sweet. I was standing out there on first base. A kid came up to hit the ball, and he did, because it's just fucking there. And some kid in the outfield caught it, which is like, what? You're 9. That's not supposed to happen. And so just like no one knew what to do. Like, so it was up to the coaches to like get all the kids together. Their coach was like, no, throw the ball back to the thing. There's a few gay people in the audience. These are sports rules for kickball. So like, they got it back before my dad was able to get my attention because I just like took off running, prancing at the time of my life. And so I didn't know I was out. And my dad had to come get me. And so the story goes, he just took me into a big hug and said, okay, not that kind of kid. And he signed me up for my first drama class. That's so sweet. And then 25 years later, my mother messages me on Instagram weekly, just being like, please, dear God, put on more clothes. I don't care what you say, that is not a Power Rangers costume. No, but they got a traditional kid with my sister. She was pretty normal. Although, side note, a lot of my relatives have asked me over the years if she was a lesbian, because they didn't really understand feminism. Just likes her job, man. But now she's married to a very lovely guy named DJ, so there's just really no way of knowing. Yeah, they got married. Straight weddings are wild. They are kind of gayer than gay weddings. There's just a bunch of like middle-aged white women wearing sequin dresses, just like doing a little shuffle. That's always fun. There's a song that everyone knows the words to about some poor girl named Eileen, and they're just insisting we come on her. It's like, how do I get to be Eileen? And at one point, all of the men walk into the dark to smoke cigars. But I apparently get scolded when I try to take the most curious looking groomsmen into the dark to suck some dick. Like I said, not allies. But now that they're married, it's all about the baby talk. What's your birth plan? When are you gonna have kids? Have you started trying to have kids? And that's a really gross question. If you think about what you're asking someone. I was at Sunday dinner, all our cousins are there, and someone at dinner asks my sister, "Are you guys trying to have kids right now?" And I'm like, "I also took 2 loads this morning, but you would be uncomfortable if I brought that up." But I don't say that because I'm a good person and I just eat my lasagna, walk to the bathroom, and push out Kyle Jr.
Nick Wolfson, ladies and gentlemen. He's such a good drama student. What's amazing about that is Nick is actually straight. So, one more time for Nick. Thank you for staying here on a Sunday night. How about a hand for all the performers you've seen tonight? Give them a big round of applause. Hannah Miller, keep it going. Alice Carrier, Idris Wahed, Grace Sheehan, Maytal Markman, Napoleon Benito, Hannah Michelati, and Nick Alderson. It's also amazing, 8 weeks ago, none of these people spoke English. That's how good this class is. And if you would like to join the class or learn more about the class, it's portlandcomedy.com, right? What is it? portlandcomedy.com. That's our show. Thanks for coming tonight. You've been a wonderful crowd. Have a hand for everyone as we leave the stage. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us tonight.